Hello and welcome back to another edition of Henry Weston's Old Mate the podcast. We're talking sobriety in a roundabout sort of a way, but I'm going to release this. This will be released more as a video, so you'll see the Twitter legend over there, Davey Reebok. Before I get over to Dave and get him to introduce himself and get to know him a bit better, if you're watching us on YouTube, please obviously like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you are listening to us on a podcast provider such as Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or Google, like the show, follow the show, give us that 5-star review. And if you could write a little written review, that would be good. I'm not going to plug my own little finance thing today because there's more important things. We're going to discuss with Dave his approach at Sober October, and this is all to do with Timeline Skulls. And if you head over to gosober.org.uk and search Timeline Skulls, you'll be able to make a donation towards their attempt at it. I think they've set a very reasonable goal of £1,000. I just checked; it's at 520. I'd like to think the community can get that a lot higher. Obviously, October hasn't started yet, but head over there. Enough of me wittering. Mr. Dave Reebok, we're going to stick with your Twitter handle, if you will. Thank you so much for joining me at the end of September, actually. We're not into Sober October yet, but
we're not. We're nearly there.
How are you, sir?
I'm all good. Yeah. All good.
Perfect. Well, I dropped into slid into the Timeline Skulls DMs last night and just wondered if any of the community would like to come on and take part in a podcast. You were the first one to reply. Mr. Lazy Jam replied, but he did inform me that he won't be sober for October. But he's going to come on, and we're going to have a bit of I think we're going to have a mindset discussion based around some of his triathlon stuff in the future, and we've got a couple of other people. I've obviously worked with some Timeline legends, Craig the Landlord, Mr. Phil Knott, probably sipping on a nice cold beer from his new machine now, and wonderful chat with Ben Nib, and just plug some of Ben's videos from yesterday. Let's get that hate off the timeline. We don't need any of that. Head over to Ben's profile. Obviously I know you from Twitter, Dave. I came across your profile basically because of my work with or the podcast I did with Craig. I have picked up a few followers from that, and I tend to get recommended some of you guys who pop up on the timeline. I like to drop you a follow, and yours is quite a prominent profile nowadays. Before Timeline Skulls, Twitter for you, talk me through it. Were you a producer of Twitter videos?
No, nothing. No. I'd never have sat in front of a camera, especially rambling on for 2 minutes and 20 about anything. I wouldn't have even sat in front of a camera for 10 seconds. Twitter for me before Timeline was it was bleak. Yeah, it's boring. It was liking and sharing sports, different bits and bobs. A few funny characters on there that I still follow till today. But yeah, it was boring. It was stale. It really was stale.
And I mean, one thing I was going to mention at the start that I just picked up from one of your videos, you've had a bit ups and downs with your health, haven't you? But just so we can put people's minds at rest, if anyone's too worried about you, a little bit of an injury, but you're on the mend, are you, mate?
I'm on the mend, yeah. I tore through a couple of tendons in my hand at work last year. Had an operation. Things are good, don't get me wrong. I still can't feel my hand. That's why I'm off work at the minute. Waiting test results, different scans, different bits and bobs. But I'm alive. I'm here. I'm good.
That's fine, and it doesn't affect. I mean, I'm obviously those who have seen my videos before. I'm a recovering alcoholic, so many people might think it's strange that I come on and talk to all these people who enjoy alcohol. But I'm going to be sipping a Guinness, a zero Guinness. I have to be honest. I only ever had 1 pint of Guinness in my life, and I think this is my third because I bought 4 of these. It's not for me, but I think there's iron and stuff in here, so it's probably good for me. So cheers, everyone.
Cheers. It's a good meal. I'll tell you what. I'll raise you as well. Zero Guinness. Is it nice?
It tastes like I only ever had a pint. I had an alcoholic pint of Guinness at the top of the factory after I'd done the tour in Dublin years ago. And from what I remember, it's quite nice. Looking at what you're pouring now, in my drinking days, it's probably very good I never discovered those, because once the doctors had told me I could never drink again, I became a bit of a caffeine fiend, because I'm
Okay.
one of those idiots who just does everything too much. So I was a 3 energy a drink day man. So if I'd have found
Wow.
them dragon soups, I'd probably be dead by now, in all honesty.
I'm telling you now, I think there is something in this that shouldn't be in it.
I was
They, there's something else. Let's just say, I couldn't sit here and sip on it. I'm gonna a little bit now, but it's yeah.
we might be potentially heading back towards the original Coca-Cola recipe, you might say.
I would say so.
Just talk to me about one thing. Well, seeing as you've poured that, because I couldn't get my head round. I think it was Jordan, and shout out to Jordan, because I had him on the WhatsApp a few months ago, and we were trying to set something up, and I never got round to it. So Jordan, when you watch this, if you watch this, I will drop back into the messages, mate, and we'll get something sorted. Same for Chris and Claire. We were due to record the night of the England final, the ladies' final. So the extra time put paid to that. But Chris and Claire, I'll also get round to you.
Brilliant.
But talk to me about this theory that I think it was Jordan or somebody came up with, that you can have a dragon soup before bed and get a wonderful night's sleep, because I can't get my head around that.
I can't also get my head around this. It's exactly the opposite for me. As soon as I've had this, if I have a dragon soup past 6 o'clock at night,
yeah,
at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm dreaming about some right weird bits, and I'm awake again.
Yeah.
So Jordan he had a dragon soup the other night, probably close to midnight, and he said it was the best night's sleep he's ever had.
Yeah, I mean he's off the charts anyway, that
He's
boy, isn't
built,
he?
he's built different.
Yeah, I mean, I still do a fair amount of running, but I do it all uncaffeinated now. But I used to take some pretty strong pre-workout stuff, and if I touched that much after 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I wouldn't sleep before midnight. So,
Bad news.
yeah, it's a bit mad. But I wonder if this share price of those dragon soups has gone up in recent months across Twitter. Might have something to do with it.
That and Carpackie and Triple Hazy, they've got to have gone through the roof with us lot.
Especially the price of a triple hazy can. I mean, what you're looking at, £4 a pop?
£4 a can.
That's
£4 a can. That's 16 quid for 4.
Still cheaper than the pub.
Yeah, it's up there though, isn't it? It's up there.
Yeah, it is. Right, let's move on from. So Twitter was a fairly bleak place, let's say, so we'll put a comedy spin on it, prior to discovering or the advent of timeline skulls. I always forget how long the profile's been around, and people like Real Ordinary have, been they popped up before timeline skulls itself. So the community's been there a while. I'd have said you've been a part of it for, I don't know, was it best part of a year or so now, is it, mate? Or a bit longer?
Yeah, no, a year. I think I did my first one Christmas Day last year.
Oh, okay. So you get, you've sort of hit 10 months then, pretty much.
Yeah.
Just talk to us, because it's not just me, is it? There'll be other people watching and listening to this. What has that community done for you? What does it mean to you? I don't want to get deep and heartfelt, but it seems to have brought a lot of entertainment to a lot of people, and everyone who pops up on the timeline always has a smile on their face. The counter argument to that is most of the time they've got a can of strong lager in their hand, so they probably will be smiling. But what does it mean to you, mate?
It's just a community with like-minded people who enjoy having a drink. It's like virtually sitting in a pub with a load of your mates, having a laugh. There's no animosity. Everybody's kind to each other, generous. It's just a good place to be. Yeah, it's fantastic for people who don't have much in life, or are going through hard times, or are just generally not getting on well. You can come on the timeline, post a little 20-second video. You don't even have to talk, and you're going to engage with people. People just get involved. They try and make you feel better about your day. We're always bigging each other up. It's an amazing place. It's an amazing place.
And it's snowballed in a sense in probably the last 6 months, hasn't it?
Yeah.
everyone getting a community is now formed around the wonderful glasses that are being produced by Timeline and the events that are sort of being rather, mini events at the weekend. And if you want to get involved and be part of the community, literally you just have to pop down your local boss man shop, pick up, whatever everyone else is trying to drink. And if you can't find it, you just pop up and, whatever you've got in the fridge, you could join in. And I enjoy the one-upmanship that seems to go on. You and Jordan are obviously egg each other on quite a lot. Lazy gets involved. And it was good to see Cy back on the timeline recently.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful to watch. But that positivity that you talk about, because there is the rare occasion when someone from outside of the community pokes their nose in, brings a bit that social media. That's the world outside of social media, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it can't be helped. But for a community nearing on 4,000 people, it doesn't happen often. It doesn't happen often, and they're usually in and out. Yeah. They get blocked, reported, they're gone. There's no time for it. Nobody has any time for trolls, people with any sort of negativity coming along. We're all there to sort of G each other on and make sure that we're all okay. It's not just men, it's women as well. There's a fair few girls on here now as well. Suze
always makes me smile.
Lauren, yeah. There's Sheps, Kentish. There's a fair few girls on here that skull as well, and they're having fun. So it's you can come on, you can drink anything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you don't talk. It doesn't matter if you're sculling a pint of water, half a pint like Simon does.
In 3 days.
It's just there for everybody to come and interact and have a good time. That's what it is.
And I think that's probably, I've got sort of written down in front of me. It's not a famous quote or anything. It's just with regards to the trolls and stuff. I think for me, it's that people often don't like what they don't understand. And if you are of the nature to abuse people online, it would be very easy to see a video of someone picking up a pint of lager, whittering on about his day, maybe mentioning the fact that he's having a struggle, and jump on him and say, well, downing that pint of lager is not going to do you any good if you're having problems with your mental health, is it? And to think, actually, that's not what it's about. I don't think you could say that Timeline Skulls wouldn't exist without the alcohol, because it's an integral part of it. But the community would exist in another sense. All you guys who found each other through the sharing of beer, let's be honest, or something similar, you'd have probably found it. You'd probably find, would it be fair to say that you find that a lot of you have many other things in common that don't involve a pint glass in your hand?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. There's many people from many different ways of life, all around the world as well. We've got people from Australia, America. There's people in Ireland.
Canadian friend who's recently popped up.
An absolute legend as well. What a mullet he has. It's one of them places where everybody we'll all have similarities somewhere along the line, but we all share the love of beer, of alcohol.
Yeah. Well, no, and it's wonderful. Next point, and it's actually good, those on the video. You're a man who expresses himself through the medium of a t-shirt or a pair of trainers every now and again. You've got one of your well-known ones on there. Some of the football shirts that come on, I don't know if they're M&M Sports Classics, are they? But I'm a man who has I'm actually selling a lot of it off now. I've got quite a large football shirt collection, and the lairier the better for me sometimes. Is that just a way to express yourself? Is that just a bit of you? Is it, Dave?
I've always been one for fashion, let's say. The louder, the better. It's always been a bit of me. My missus keeps saying I'm having a midlife crisis, but the louder the better for me. The loud shirts, loud trainers, different hats, different glasses. I'm all about that. You can't live life being boring. You've got to go out there, and I'm not a plain Jane. I'll do my own thing. I've got no problems with it.
Well, I'm wearing a white t-shirt. It's got a little skull resting in a pint glass just by pure chance, actually. But I'm colourblind, so I could actually get away with wearing pretty leery stuff if I choose to, and it's a very easy excuse. Next point on my list, and it's just something that's probably going to make you laugh, but every now and again, one of your videos will get interrupted by the chirping animal in the background. How does a man you recently we're not going to ask whereabouts in the country you are, but you recently described on the video that you almost let your name slip, that you live in a sleepy little village, I think you might have said. How does a family man living in a sleepy village end up with an exotic bird in his house?
Oh, don't get me started. So we inherited the bird off the wife's mum. They've moved into a smaller house. We've moved into a bigger house. They couldn't fit the bird anywhere with any sense into their house. So silly old us said, "Oh, we'll have the bird." And it's this small. He's only small, but he's about 40. He's this green and red little parrot called Gibbo, and he's just, I don't want to swear, he's annoying, so to speak. He will let you know when he's hungry, he'll let you know when he's thirsty, and he'll just let you know he's there 24 hours a day. I just heard him a minute ago. I've shut the door so we can't hear him, but yeah, an annoying bird.
Is
40 years old, he's going to grow. I don't know how old he's going to get to. I think they can go up to nearly 100.
Oh, crikey. Is there any other, you got no cats in the house that could help him out?
Yeah, 2 cats. Both of them are petrified of the bird. And that tells you something.
Oh, so that's not good. There'll be no early demise for the bird then.
No, the bird gets out of his cage. This is the thing. And he's been trying to do it on several of my videos, and you can hear him rattling the door. And he gets out, and we caught him. Was it last month? It was it was this month. It was near my birthday. He was just walking around the floor, and the cat was playing with him, like pushing him along. And the bird was trying to bite the cat. And the cat's a killer. Well, the cat's horrendous. I'm surprised.
Talk to us. You mentioned it. I didn't have it on my notes, but we're sort of getting towards we're going to sort of build up this chat towards the Sober October, and that is how we'll finish the chat. But you mentioned your birthday, so let's touch on. I mean, we can't all be Phil Knott with 365 of them, but you had a pretty good go at making the most. I mean, what did you probably had a 10-day to 2-week birthday? Did you?
We had a 2-week birthday. Started in August. Do you know what? We were talking about this the other night, me and Jordan. Throughout the whole of September, I've not drank for 9 days. That's ads. But this is leading up from, I think I started with 5 days left of August and just carried Phil Knott style straight through my birthday. Had a couple of days off and then started it again. It's just been ongoing. It was hard. It was a tough slog. When I say I'm going to do something, I do it. I can't back away from it. And I said I'd go right up until my birthday. And I did. I did. And I felt rotten for it. The day after my birthday, when I stopped, I felt rotten. It was horrible. But it is what it is, isn't it?
I have to ask, because the first chat like this I did with Craig, I sort of touched on his better half, Mrs. Furloud, and I probably should ask, how does Mrs. Davey Reebok, because in my drinking days before they descended into the chaotic alcoholism that it became, I was a fun binge drinker. I did all my drinking in the pub. I always drank at home, but only if there was someone else to drink with, really. I was a social drinker. That's what I loved about it. And my wife was, all for Stuart being a bit of a twat in the, well, not all for, but she could tolerate me being a bit of a twat in the pub. I can't imagine if I was still drinking and sort of part of the Timeline Skulls community. I can't imagine my wife. She probably tolerated to a point, but I don't know how long. How does Mrs. Reebok, is there some of it done on the sly, or because obviously a lot of yours, we can see you in your house at the moment, you're out in the back garden in the summer. Is it on the sly, or does she know what's going on most of the time?
I as much as I can, I'll keep it away from the kids. The kids don't need to be seeing me do that. Obviously, and I'm jumping in the swimming pool and I'm trying to score. The kids know what I do.
Yeah.
They know bits about the community, this, that, and the other. They don't know too much. They're kids. But the wife, yeah. Yeah, it's one of them things. She doesn't stop me doing anything, but she's like, "Are you really going to be drinking again tonight?" It's like, I'm only having one or two. It's one of them things. She understands why we all do it.
Yeah.
She does, but she also tries to rein me in a little bit.
I guess the occasional times when perhaps it gets a little bit carried away, and you maybe, she said, it's not, let's throw out a day, a Tuesday or a random Wednesday night, and then you're waking up a bit worse for wear on a Thursday. She probably might give you a little dig in the ribs and tell you're a bit old for it.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't wake up with hangovers. I don't. So if I'm gonna drink and I'm gonna drink heavy, it's usually the weekend and I've got nothing planned the next day. But if I'm having 3 or 4 at home, I can get up and I can function. Yeah. I'm in the gym 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm fine. Yeah. I'm really, really fine. So yeah, on a school night and are you having a couple of drinks tonight? Yeah, I'm having a couple, but it's moderation. I keep saying this. I say it a lot to Jordan. As long as you're able to get up, function, work, go to the gym, see your kids, do your normal family life. Because like it says in my bio, Twitter isn't real life. People see a perception of you, but they don't see you outside of social media. A 2-minute video 3 or 4 times a day is less than 10 minutes. You've still got 24 hours in the day of being a father, of being a family, being a friend to people. So yeah, she just allows me. If she said no, I'd still be doing it anyway.
I mean, what you touched on there is probably something I should have mentioned when we were talking about the community, because you put it really well there, that if someone was to if someone logged on to your Twitter profile now and sort of looked at the last week, they might think, oh, this guy's a raging pisshead who's, he should be worrying about, he's got other things. But that is such a small amount of what you do, and it does open itself up for misinterpretation, doesn't it? But yeah, it's great. It's almost like we've planned this, and we haven't actually, because we've got together and I've got a few notes in front of me. But you mentioned the gym, and I know football's a big part of your life with the shirts and with your. I don't know if is it 6 or 7 aside in the evenings, or is it full football when you head off in the evenings?
7 aside, 7 aside Tuesday nights with the boys, yeah.
So the sport and the gym, and like you say, it's all things in moderation. And if so the gym and the sports and the football, big part of your life, always been a big part of your life, mate?
Yeah, massive. Into football as a young lad, sort of 4 or 5 years old. My dad tried to push me towards Liverpool, ended up hating Liverpool and supporting Man United.
Good, excellent.
Yeah. And then, growing up, I kind of come away from football. My granddad used to take me golf. He'd take me golf after school 3 or 4 times a week. He'd literally live around the corner from a golf course.
Yeah.
Bought my first set. Got me into golf, So I've been a big golf player all my life, really. Started at about 12 years of age, and I've not played since the injury competitively. Stopped playing, I think it was May 2021. Stopped playing competitively at the local golf course. Got down to a 0.9 handicap.
Crikey. I mean, that makes mine's roughly about 12. It could be a bit lower, but that's proper golf. If you're ever down on the Kent coast, you'll have to hook me up, because that's my profession, looking after golf courses. So
greenkeeper. Yeah, I've got a couple of greenkeepers as well. Come away from it because the money for them was terrible, and they could get better money elsewhere. They loved the job. Dan, one of my good friends, he helped out at the British Masters at Woburn. I think it was 2018 or 20. One of them, so he's done quite a few bits greenkeeper wise. But golf's been probably the biggest sport for me. Football, again, I've always played it, not any good. I'm not going to big myself up at all, but this 7-a-side football team that we put together, it was just for a laugh. It was something to get out with the lads. Many of them are new fathers. They need a bit of release from their day-to-day life, and it's half an hour every Tuesday night. And the first season we played, we got absolutely spanked. I think 14 games, we won 1, we drew 2, we lost the rest. And it was, do we carry on? Do we not? We got a few more people involved, better players. And we've literally just won the league. Yeah, we've won the league. We've lost 1 game all season.
Well, massive congratulations. And
yeah.
Being a footballer, I'm a Man United fan for my sins. You know, I've been following them. I was born in 1980. I was born in 1980 on the South Coast, and I'm only a Man United fan because my best mate at primary school, he asked me when I was 5.5 years, 6 years old, who do you support? I don't support. I was. It was the Mexico World Cup. Maradona was tearing it up. We all wanted to be Maradona. I said I don't support anyone. He said, "Well, you can be a Man United fan like me and my dad," and I have been ever since. But
happy, right choice.
Maybe we'll get, because I've also we do football content and we do golf content on Henry Weston. So maybe we'll get you on for some of that, Dave, in the future.
Yeah.
Let's move towards the crescendo, shall we say? This chat has all been aimed at getting towards the fact that a lot of the Timeline Skulls community have signed up to do Sober October. It's for a wonderful cause. You know, Macmillan Cancer Research are running the gosober.org.uk. Again, I'll mention it. If you head over to there, search for Timeline Skulls, you can make a donation. Please do. You know, if you've only got a £5 or a tenner, every little pound helps. I don't know how you feel about it, Dave. So let's let's quiz you about how, in your head. I mean, I've written blogs and I've done podcasts before, and I've often sort of said something like, if you couldn't take a month off drinking alcohol, then you might want to have a look at yourself, because you might have a problem or a bad relationship with alcohol. And that was probably when I wrote and said those things a year or so ago. It was a bit of a naive thing to say, because it's realistically, and you touched on it earlier, it's not all about the alcohol. I mean, if you said to someone you can't have a drink for a month, they'd probably be all right. But if you said to certain people you can't go to the pub for a month, then they would really struggle, because that is their safe place for some people. That's, and areas like that could potentially be more important than the actual what's in the glass to many drinkers.
Of course, yeah.
How are you feeling about taking a month off? Because let's be honest, you've had a pretty good go at it in recent times. Are you looking forward to the rest, or is there something niggling at you, thinking, how am I going to cope with this event? I've got dinner with the lads this night, and I know there's going to be some sherbets flying around. What's the have you got a game plan, or is it every day as it comes?
My game plan is to block Jordan Mead off all social media and my phone book, so he doesn't hassle me for a drink daily. No, it's needed. It's definitely needed. I've hit it quite hard recently. Calmed it down a bit. I had 7 days off recently because I was in Twitter jail. So yeah, I just took 7 days. It was nice, breath of fresh air. Just fuel in my body again. But I've never gone a month without being able to go down the pub, meet your mate, have a couple of pints. I've also got a curry night for end of season. I think that's next weekend. That's going to be tough not to drink at that. Yeah. But it's one of them things, like I said at the start, once I say something to myself that you're not going to do this or you're going to do that, I stick to my words. Yeah. It's certainly going to be tough, because you're going to come on the timeline. I'm around all the time. I'm communicating with people, we're liking, we're sharing different bits, we're conversing. It's going to be hard to see all that going on, as well as having the likes of Lazy, who's not going for Sober October. Gordon's definitely not going. Simon's not going for it. I'm going to have them on me all month. Jordan especially. That will be tough. Seeing them lot doing it and not being able to get involved and have a good laugh. I'll still have a laugh with them. You want to have a little drink with them. It's nothing bad. I can't say that I'm addicted to alcohol, so to speak. It's just a nice way to relax at the end of the day. And you can have a laugh with it with your mates.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I the first 16, 17 years of my drinking career, if you will, was, I would say, I don't want to call it controlled drinking because that's a stupid, but my drinking wasn't really a problem. It descended into a problem, but I used to love it. It was what I was about. I went to work Monday to Friday. Alcohol wasn't responsible for me not going to work until sort of the end of it. But yeah, I had periods of my sort of younger life where I tried taking time off it, and before things like social media, I just there was always someone who was a bad influence in my life, and I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. I'd always break. I'd always buckle. Can you see yourself buckling? You've told us how when you put your mind to something. Can you see any circumstances by which you may be forced to? It'll be down to willpower, won't it?
It is. It's all willpower. Yeah. Like I said, I'll have Jordan on the phone daily. I mean, hourly. He will be there ribbing me, trying to make me quit. Yeah, my willpower's good. It's going to be tough. I will say it's going to be tough. It's not become a habit, but it's become not a lifestyle even. It's one of those things that you look forward to after a day's work. You look forward to a beer.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, it's worse in the summer. Hot day, been
Yeah.
out working all day, laying bricks, doing whatever I got to do. You want a nice, refreshing beer at the end of the day. It's winter now, so it's not so bad.
What will, again, I don't know if you've strategized too much, but will there be a go-to? Will you go down the non-alcoholic front? Like, I don't drink hardly any non-alcoholic stuff, but will you load the fridge with non-alcoholic stuff, or will you chase the sugar rush? Will you go for the neat Coca-Cola? How will you try and combat what you're putting in that glass?
Non-alcoholic drinks for me. I've got a barbecue to go to on the 7th of October. A couple of work lads are having a little barbecue get together. Usually it gets messy, and I said I'll bring some non-alcoholic beers so I don't look too much of a div standing around with water. But other than that, no, I probably won't drink them. Sugar for me is not my friend, although I'm drinking a Dragon's.
It's not mine either.
I try and stay away from sugar as much as I can. So it's just going to be fueling my body with water. I'm going to try and lose a little bit more weight through the month. Do some extra classes at the gym while I've got time off, while I can. Try and just be a bit more healthy, and try and look at things a little bit different, so to speak.
You've got a great opportunity to, I mean, it's not a month's but you've got a great opportunity to try, and if you want to, and I wouldn't suggest anything to anyone, but if you wanted to make some potentially small changes, you've got this month gives you a good window to, like you say, try some extra classes, maybe find some new things to add to the regime. But then when you come back to November and you can get back onto the beer if you choose to, which I'm sure you will. But you've got a month's actually quite a long time to try and make some changes away from it.
It is. It's a massive amount of time thinking about it. I did 7, and all I could think about was having a little drink, and I didn't do it. But a month is a very, very long time. There's things that I want to try and do. And we'll go from there. It's a day at a time. I'm sure I'll do it. I'm sure I'll complete it. It's going to be tough. My wife will be battering me on every. Yeah, she was the first to donate to the link that I put earlier as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. One thing that I was going to ask, I've got it written down: sober October, no alcohol. It's in October. Will you have to avoid the gummy bears as well?
I don't know. I need to. I have not got that many left now. I think I'm possibly gonna give them up as well for the month.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't. My main demon was the alcohol. I wasn't completely innocent of everything else in my life, but things outside of alcohol weren't really my thing. But I would imagine that one thing can lead to another. Could we say it might be a dangerous path to tread?
Yeah, the gummies, they're there for more sleep
Right.
and
Yeah.
getting a longer sleep, because I mean, you eat one of them, you're sleeping for a good 12 hours. So if you've not had the best of sleeps, they're there, sort of thing. They're not anything that I need or want. They're a bit of fun. And they're perfectly fine. They are perfectly fine. But I think for the month, I'm going to leave them alone as well. Just see where my body goes. See how my body adjusts to not drinking and not, because the bears lead to crisps, as Lazy will tell you. Bears and beer lead to crisps and snacks and all that. And I think if I cut all that out and get my BMI down slightly, it's coming down. It's nice. We're at a good weight at the minute. But yeah, I want to see what difference a month actually does to the body.
Well, you've got a wonderful opportunity, mate. And just mate, there's some notes I just wanted to make. Talk to Lazy when I get him on. I do want to talk about the crisp battle and some of his not so great choices, but some of his better ones that he has been making. Mr. Davey Reebok, it's been absolutely wonderful chatting with you. I will, just before we go, I will ask everyone who is watching and listening, please like and rate the show. But more importantly, log on to gosober.org.uk, search for Timeline Skulls. Have a look on Dave's profile. Have a look on the other scullers who are doing it. They might have their own individual links. If you can, please donate. If you can't donate, a like, a share, or a retweet could do everything the world of good. Dave, is there anything you want, any shout outs or anything you want to make while you've got your it's not your 5 minutes of fame, but is there anything you want to get into before we end this chat, mate?
We're always going to do it, aren't we? We're always going to put these on. And we're going to look for the Geordie Mead. That's what we're going to do. I said I'd shout him out, the fella. So here he is. Geordie, where are you, kid? We'll get one down.
Fantastic. Mr. Dave Reebok, thank you for being a guest on Henry Weston's Old Mate, the podcast.
Real.